Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by D3 Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop role-playing game where you play as monster girls, experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released Daughters of Lamb. This is a pay-what-you-want tabletop RPG, where you play as cybernetic nuns with guns, looking for the missing pieces of their AI god. You will find it in their website. The link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products. They have recently released Savage Swords. This is a Conan-inspired tabletop RPG where you get to explore ancient civilizations and confront forgotten nightmares. You will find it in their website. The link will be in the description and in the pinned comment as well. Now tonight, I am going to start, or you could say restart perhaps, a very interesting review series featuring DarkEnergy, the 1.5 edition. I already had an ongoing series reviewing the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition based version, but this is an entirely new edition. It feels like an entirely new experience from the mechanical aspect. Thematically, it is still the same, but now I will begin a new review series focusing on this high technology and high fantasy tabletop RPG. Now, let's talk about the quality of the PDF. The quality is great, but there is a major point, a major criticism on my part. It has no bookmarks and no hyperlinks. The PDF is 249 pages long, and you have no bookmarks and no hyperlinks. How do they expect you to navigate this monster? They need to be added. Apart from that, everything is well written, organized, and explained. The graphic design is really good. It's not minimalistic. It is simple, colorful but simple. You have like these dark blue embellishments, and on the edges of the pages you also have some embellishments as well. The background is of a clear gray color. Almost looks metallic, almost, but it's more like a fading of the background scenery of the cover. The illustrations are great. They are in the graphic novel style, very appropriate for the DarkEnergy theme and ongoing storyline. So overall, my only major criticism: bookmarks and hyperlinks need to be added to this document, but everything else is great. Now, let's talk about the contents. So what is DarkEnergy? This is modern day Earth, but there was a malfunction at the newly upgraded Large Hadron Collider that rips the veil between worlds. And it pulled creatures and magic from other realms. Chaos has erupted as communications go down and the power goes out. Monsters run wild and cities burn. But there are those who survive and some discover they have amazing powers. This is based on a series of novels. Thanks to this rulebook, you can play in any part of the timeline. You could play out the moment when the rift between worlds, the veil between worlds was torn asunder. And people from beings from outside came into our world and vice versa. It's like a reverse isekai. But you could also play when things have stabilized and the people have gotten used to interacting with beings from other realms of existence. And so you see a mix of medieval sensibilities and conventions with modern, even high-tech nuances. Let's talk about the veil between worlds. The veil is the barrier that separates the realms, of course. The three major realms are the Kingdom of Heaven, The mortal realms, excuse me, and the nine hells. There is also the transitional realm of the underworld. The veil also limits the influence of celestial beings in the mortal realm and keeps the demons trapped in hell. The veil also separates all mortal and celestial worlds. The veil can be traversed by accessing the Axis Mundi. We will talk more about this in later parts of this review series. There is even an adventure for this tabletop RPG. It is called the Shearing Aftermath, an adventure for 2 to 5 characters, so definitely check it out. The scenarios in this game are broken into two categories. You have the aftermath and future. While there are these two possible scenarios, that does not mean they are the only possibilities. The aftermath is about starting out as a group of humans trying to ride out the initial aftermath of the shearing and discovering they have powers while encountering new enemies and allies. The future is when Earth is a mix of societies from the multi-dimension variety. Some cities, towns were barely affected by the shearing. Others are completely destroyed. Some have been enslaved, while others have taken the opportunity to conquer their neighbors and forge their own fledgling empires. And how do you play this? Like with any other tabletop RPG, you have a game master that creates challenges for the other players to overcome, although here it is not very well explained. It says here, it is an interactive story. No, this is not choose your own path, choose your own adventure type of game book. You play a role and you play a game as simple as that. You're not telling stories about your characters and the game world. You are experiencing the game world as your characters. They will face many challenges monsters, traps, political intrigue. The game is typically played with 3 to 7 players and one serving as the game master, of course. But that's just what is expected. You could even play this with a single player character if you wish. You only need to adapt things to that. And of course, the roll of the dice will determine success or failure when success or failure is uncertain. You play this in sessions, from a one-shot to a complete campaign. You don't need too many accessories apart from dice and the book. You specifically use polyhedral dice. Now, when it comes to the basics, the players, of course, are going to be interacting with the game world. They have various talents, 7 in total, that will further assist in these interactions. You have might, agility, vitality, intelligence, spiritual, personality, and luck. You also have some traits from your background, your species, your races, your classes. Now, when it comes to disadvantage and advantage, this is typical of other tabletop RPGs. You roll 2 20-sided dice, and if you have an advantage, you choose the best result. If it's a disadvantage, you choose the lowest result or the most negative result of the dice rolls. Now, oh, sorry, I was mistaken. I got confused because of the previous version. Look, advantage and disadvantage. If something in the game gives you advantage or disadvantage, you roll a second d20 and use the higher. No, that is correct. No, I was not mistaken. That is correct. Okay. You also have tech levels. Tech level 0 is very primitive, but it could go to 1 or 2. So depending on the particular moment of the timeline, you could be employing some very primitive or some very advanced weaponry. You also have a system of alignment of good and evil, law and chaos, and maybe it depends on the deity that your character follows. So the lawful good, lawful neutral, chaotic evil, etc. All of that plethora of alignments is still existing here. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to talk about the setting, including the planes of existence. From what I have seen of this document, I think the transition to a more original take, not completely divorced from the typical D20 system, but a more original approach, was definitely worth it. Now the DarkEnergy tabletop RPG stands on its own, and you don't feel like you're playing just another variation of Dungeons and Dragons, so to speak. Here there are enough differences for it to stand apart on its own. Thank you for watching this part of the review. We have just gotten started. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the Super Thanks button. Take a look at the information in the description, the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, in tabletop RPGs, you are not telling stories about your characters. You are experiencing the game world as your characters. Once again, thank you and see you later.